Hello everybody, welcome to my third Tip Tuesday live on Facebook. You can find any of my previous videos on our Facebook page, or I'm uploading those to our YouTube channel, the Horizon Dental YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about oil pulling. So a disclaimer right off the bat, there is no way that oil pulling can or should replace proper oral hygiene. And that means brushing and flossing. It's meant to be sort of an extra thing, kind of like mouthwash or something along those lines. So I wanted to quickly review for anybody who doesn't know much what oil pulling actually is. So it's been a part of Ayurvedic medicine, like holistic medicine, for approximately 3,000 years. So it's been around a really long time. It involves rinsing and swishing in your mouth about 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. And they actually say to do it for a good 20 minutes. The idea is that the bacteria in the mouth are drawn into the oil because they're covered in like a fatty membrane type thing. So the oil like attracts like. The longer you swish, the science says the more microbes are gathered. So possible benefits include tooth whitening, fresher breath. It's supposed to help reduce inflammation, which means it should help heal gingivitis. It may help prevent cavities, and it's supposed to also reduce tooth sensitivity. So there's lots of possible benefits to oil pulling. We can tell that it does reduce the bacterial load, so we know that gingivitis, cavities, these things are all caused by bacteria, so it will reduce the bacterial load. And for your whole body, this means that it can help improve things like heart disease, diabetes, help work against infections like pneumonia, sinusitis, different sort of problems like that. I do know, however, that it definitely will not reverse or fix existing cavities. This is something that I've seen on Pinterest boards and all kinds of places where, we're looking for better solutions than the traditional fillings or other restorations to fix cavities. And some people have tried to use oil pulling for that. Unfortunately, I've seen this go fairly poorly in some people, where they've left the cavities too long and they will grow. It doesn't mean that the oil pulling isn't going to help them, but it definitely can't fix a cavity once it's gotten to the point that it needs that filling. So I hope that everybody will bear that in mind when they're, thinking about adding this into their routine. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've done for the last month or so. I've been using the oil for the last 4 weeks since our last Tip Tuesday. I've been using, can you see this? This one here. It is a mouth rinse from the Humble Bee, which used to be in Kamloops but is now out of Chilliwack. A lot of their products, I like a lot of their skincare products. You can find them in lots of stores around Kamloops. And I found this mouth rinse on their website a few weeks ago, and I really wanted to try it and sort of give people my honest opinion about it. So what this one is a high-grade coconut oil, and it's also got several essential oils. So I think there's peppermint, spearmint in this flavor. I think they had other flavors as well, but I figured, well, fresh mint sounds the best to me. The reason why they want to use the coconut oil instead of, say, olive oil or a different sort of oil is that coconut oil has something called lauric acid. And lauric acid has a lot of antibacterial properties. So you want to stay away from other oils that are really high in omega-6 fatty acids. Although these are good for us in certain instances, they are pro-inflammatory. So that's probably why most of you that are familiar with the omegas or the essential fatty acids probably think more about the omega-3s. Most of us take those sorts of supplements, but the omega-6s, like what's in olive oils and different things like that, they can be pro-inflammatory. So the coconut oil is the best one in terms of using that for oil pulling. So let's see. How do I feel? This is kind of the fun part of doing this. I really enjoy these product reviews. So I gotta say that oil pulling is really hard. My jaw got so sore the first few times that I did this. The instructions and all the stuff that I've read says, just swish gently around your mouth and don't stress your jaw muscles and things like this. And I am a grinder, so my jaw muscles do get more sensitive. I can't chew gum at all, so that gives you sort of an idea of, how tender my muscles can get. And I found it really, really challenging to swish around with the coconut oil. I was only able to do about 5 minutes at first, and I eventually worked myself up to 10 minutes if I gave myself a distraction. So the odd YouTube video here and there actually made a bit of a difference in terms of getting me through those 10 minutes. All the evidence, though, it says 20 minutes, and I don't think I could do this for 20 minutes straight. I'm going to be perfectly honest. So that's part of the concerns that I have surrounding oil pulling, especially for people that do get sore jaw muscles or have TMJ issues, is that, the full benefit, you're supposed to be doing it for 20 minutes. And if you can't comfortably do that for 20 minutes, then I'm not sure how much the benefits are going to really affect you. So bearing that in mind. I also found that I kind of gagged a little bit on it at first. I really liked the mint and the spearmint, the essential oils. It was quite nice, refreshing, kind of like your general Listerine, your spearmint types of mouth rinses. But I felt like, putting a ball of kind of oil in my mouth was very odd at first. So it took me, again, about a week before that, initial urge to spit it out kind of passed. I was only doing it about 4 times a week as well. It's not something that needs to be done every day, not like you're brushing and you're flossing. Like I said, it's an extra, so that's how often I was doing it for. Positive things, I liked how smooth my teeth would feel afterwards. I think it's partly because they're kind of coated in the oil afterwards, right? So that you do get this sense that things are really smooth and really clean. And I love that feeling. It's like having your teeth polished. As for like some of the other benefits, I mean, I don't, luckily I do not have gingivitis. I don't suffer from super sensitive teeth or have a lot of these problems that are supposed to, be benefited by doing oil pulling. And I didn't feel like my teeth really whitened at all, but I do drink a lot of coffee. So for me, whitening is always a little bit of a hit or miss because the next day I drink the coffee and it just sort of all comes back to the way it was. I do feel like my breath was fresher. Like I said, the essential oils were quite nice, and I really enjoyed that sensation. Again, kind of like the Listerine sensation, but not as astringent, like how Listerine kind of makes you pucker. This was very gentle and really pleasant, actually, so I really enjoyed that. So kind of coming to the last part here. Would I recommend oil pulling? I think that if you're interested in holistic remedies, or you're interested in some of these alternatives to some of the things that we have out here, like the mouthwashes with their chemicals, things like this, then I say try it. It's definitely not going to hurt anything. And the coconut oil is very natural product. It's not going to do any harm to your teeth or to your gums. Just don't swallow it. I don't recommend swallowing it. It'll feel really weird too. The essential oils, if they're high quality essential oil, they're also going to be beneficial for you. I like it as an alternative for sure to a lot of the mouthwashes out there. I want to emphasize that if anyone has a history of TMJ problems, if you grind, you clench, you get muscle pain or muscle fatigue in your jaws, then you really need to be cautious about your oil pulling. You have to be very gentle while you're doing that, and probably limit the amount of time, or at least work up to being able to do the full 20 minutes like what I tried to do for myself. I'm also recommending that if you are an intermittent bruxer, you have a bruxing guard that you might wear at night, if you're doing the oil pulling before bed, make sure that you wear your bruxing guard, because your muscles are going to be fatigued and they're going to be more likely to spasm and have problems. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And will I keep doing it personally? I'm going to use up the rest of what's in my little tin here. I actually never opened this. I'm sorry. I should have shown you what it looks like, but there it is. It's coconut oil. It looks like the same stuff that I cook with in my kitchen, but it smells a lot better because of the spearmint and the mint essential oils. So I actually like that quite a bit. It is more of a sort of a solid consistency. But it's once you have it in your mouth, the warmth of your mouth will loosen it and make it into a liquid, and then it's much easier to move around. That's, again, going back to before, why I felt like I was kind of gagging on it the first couple of times I tried, is because it's a sort of almost solid but not really solid thing, and it's very strange to have this ball of oil in your mouth. But as soon as it becomes liquid, like as soon as my mouth would warm it to the point where it was a liquid and I could just kind of move it gently around my mouth, I was fine. It was great. It had no problems at all. I like that it is a bit of a solid because I think it'd be a little bit easier to travel with in this sort of state. Although, again, keep in mind that if you leave this in your car, it's going to get liquidy and you might spill it everywhere. So again, one of the other big takeaways that I want to make sure that everybody is keeping in mind is no matter whether you feel you get a benefit from oil pulling or not, you should still be doing your brushing twice a day for 2 minutes and your flossing at least once a day. I do my flossing before bed because that's when I remember, but if you remember to do it in the morning, that's fine with me too. Anyways, this has been a little bit of a shorter Tip Tuesday, and I don't see any questions at the moment. So I will just let you know that next month, the final Tuesday of September, I will be doing another Tip Tuesday around the same time. I'm going to create another Facebook event so that everybody knows sort of how to find this, and hopefully that gives a good forum as well in case people have questions. I'm planning on reviewing another Humblebee product, the activated charcoal toothpaste. So this is another trend that we've seen in social media and on the news in the last year or so, I suppose. I've spoken about this on Talk to the Experts with Paul Graham. So you can find copies of those podcasts on our website at www.horizondental.clinic. But this is the Humblebee's Activated Charcoal Toothpaste. The idea behind this is that it's supposed to whiten your teeth. So I'm going to see, just how white I can get them between now and the end of September. So let's see, I've got a couple of things. Thank you, Brittany and Chelsea, for watching. Thank you for all of your support as always, everybody, and I look forward to speaking to everybody again in about a month, talking about the charcoal toothpaste. Have a good night. Oh, I've got one more question here. Does it taste like mint? Yes, it does. Let me see if I can do this. I actually chose the minty flavor. But I do think that the Humblebee had several other flavors, at least one or two, and possibly an unflavored one. I just thought, the traditional flavor of all of our products is mint, so I figured it would be the easiest one to sort of compare with other things. Wow, thanks again, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next month. Good night.